It is the first day of the season here in Ontario, and everything that you're going to be seeing in this video is from the Insta360 ONE X2.
I had a feeling on solar side. I had to go and make you all mine, and I know it's the right time. Can't envision nothing else. I need you right now. Need you when I feel down. I know you're the one for me now. Nothing gonna stop me, I'ma slow down. Got to love you, I got to love you.
Little ski tour. Another cool mount for the Insta360 ONE X2 is this, they call it the unicorn mount. And essentially what it does is it attaches right here and it puts the Insta360 kind of hovering right here. So I have my hands to do whatever I want and I can still choose my angles in post-production afterwards. Here you can see the Insta360 pole that I've been using up until now. And now, also Burton step-ons, revolutionary. Another cool thing with the Insta360 ONE X2 is the bullet time feature. So you basically put your Insta360 ONE X2 on this little keychain and you spin it around your head while you go down the hill. And we're back at the icy hill, but I figured it's the least populated hill out here, and if I'm swinging something around, I should probably try to keep it safe. So let's go for a run. Talk quickly about a few of the things that I really enjoy with the Insta360 ONE X is one, the battery life is actually quite amazing, that I'm still at 75% and I've been out here for at least a couple of hours now. Another thing that I really like is that as somebody that both makes content for YouTube, that I need that horizontal frame, but it's also nice to have story content that's vertical for Instagram, that when you're recording in 360 you can actually select your aspect ratio afterwards. The audio from this camera is also quite good, as you can hear right now. I'm sorry about the snowcat building jumps in the background making the beeps, but the audio from this camera is actually pretty good. And then the last addition that I'm very happy to see is that they've made the camera a lot easier. So if you just hit the button, if the camera's in the off position and you hit the front stop start record button, the camera will boot up and just start recording, which it makes my life so much easier, especially when you're trying to control the camera with these big gloves. All right, welcome to day number 2. It is overcast and it is going to get nighttime soon. So let's see the high ISO performance of this Insta360 ONE X2. So one cool thing with a lower light day is that I can actually go into the app, the Insta360 app, and I can select my maximum shutter speed. And what that's going to do is I'm going to set my shutter speed to something like maybe 1/120th of a second. So as I'm going down the hill, if I'm pulling still images from that, I'm getting that nice motion blur kind of beside me, which I feel like adds the experience, and it's not something you can really replicate accurately in post-production. It's kind of a cool thing to do on these lower light days. biggest change to the Insta360 ONE X is this touch screen here. So it's an LCD touch screen, so you can actually move it around depending on what you want to look at. And it gives you an amazing visual confirmation of what it is that you're capturing. You know that you're capturing full 360 everything. You can also just shoot one lens if you want, but I find that if I'm shooting this camera, I'm usually pretty much all the time shooting it in 360. But just having a little visual exposure confirmation is nice here, as well as you can get a few of the menu settings in here as well if you're interested in using this rather than going into the app to change some things. Speaking of the app, it is by far the best app in the 360 space right now. The main thing that I love the most about it is that if you're wirelessly connected to the Insta360 ONE X2, you don't have to download all the footage onto your phone to use it. It just, you can edit from this actual camera, which is pretty cool. And I'm not going to spoil everything the app does, because quite honestly, learning the app is the most exciting part of getting this camera and seeing what's possible. But know that pretty much anything you want to do with the 360 camera is possible within the app. What I actually do a lot, because I do a lot more kind of YouTube content production, I actually edit most of the time in the Insta360 Studio on computer, and I found this app to be really just incredible. It's responsive, it doesn't crash, it kind of anticipates what you want to do, and it's a very user-friendly experience overall, just creating the final videos. As I mentioned before, you can change to whatever aspect ratio you want. So if you want to do an edit that's widescreen for YouTube, and then you want to do that Instagram story edit that's the vertical version of that, you can zoom and pan, and you can do everything that you want to do within kind of those two aspect ratios, which I find to be really, really cool. It charges on the side here via USB-C, and as I mentioned before, the battery life is actually really incredible. The battery actually pulls out right here, and it's that size. I would recommend maybe getting a second battery if you're going to be a heavy user of this camera, or just bringing a cell phone battery pack with you, because you can just charge USB-C when you're out in the field, when it's in your backpack or whatever. And then as far as actual attachments go, if you don't have a lot of, it uses regular style tripod thread to go onto the invisible selfie stick, but a lot of the accessories will also use the kind of the GoPro mount as well. So if you have a lot of GoPro stuff around, at least connectors and suction cups, you will be able to use that with this camera here. But if you don't have a lot of those connectors, I would recommend getting, well, specifically for me, the Snow Kit. It's kind of the sports kit. It comes with a chest harness as well as a bunch of other things, the unicorn mount, a lot of cool things to just kind of get the most out of this camera. So I would recommend picking up one of those packs if you don't have all the accessories that you already want. And while I know a lot of the content within this review has been focused on snowboarding, know that whatever you really want to do with the 360 camera, I feel like they're a lot more versatile, especially now, and the quality is just really fantastic. If you mounted this hot shoe on the top of your camera, you're now actually able to properly get everything that you want. I did this in the past with the original Insta360 ONE X, and it worked pretty well. I was pretty happy with it, but the quality step up of the ONE X2 is really, really worth it. Another thing that I might mention maybe here as well, I guess the positive is that when you shoot 360 footage, you have access to every single clip that you would want within that 360 space. The downside is that you do have to go into post-production to find it, so you really do slow down your post-production time a little bit. And then another thing that the 360 camera really does come in handy with is whenever you want to get those impossible angles, like underneath the lift and the snowboard facing up, all I was doing there was I just had this fully extended, not even you can get an elongated selfie stick as well that's even longer. Just with the regular one, I just kind of put it underneath my snowboard, and that's how I got that shot. So know that you can kind of hide this wherever, and you can reframe some really, really cool shots. So that's all from the car here. Let's go back to the hill for a little more demonstration of this camera on the selfie stick. We'll call this review a day, but I do recommend this camera quite a lot. This is my favorite current 360 camera on the market. And this completes my review for the Insta360 ONE X2. Fantastic tool if you need a 360 camera, or if you're somebody that does a lot of self-filming. Thank you so much for joining me. I am Taylor Jackson. Don't forget to subscribe. I'm out of breath. That was a hard run. It's really bouncy tonight. There's a bunch of snow on the lens. If you get snow in the lens, all you gotta do is just put the camera inside your glove, and then you're good as new for like 2 seconds until a bunch more snow hits it. Thanks for joining me. Don't forget to subscribe, like this video if you like this video. We'll see you again next time.